June 2020, and if you can remember, June 2020 was 3 months into COVID, and I remember this distinctly, and I'm sure Tucker does as well. We had summer camp starting on Monday, and out of nowhere I got a call at 7 o'clock on Friday night, and she introduced herself and said, "I'm Tucker, we're with Invisible Clawprints. I heard you have a summer camp." I'm like, "Yeah." And she kept talking, and I'm like, "No, there's no way we can bring pups into St. Andrews in the middle of COVID. There's no way they're going to tell us it's going to be a good idea." But something very special happened. The more Tucker spoke, the more I realized they needed us more than we needed them. Or so it seemed. Because the pups had been trained, they couldn't go to schools, they couldn't go to hospitals, they couldn't go to senior living places. They were stuck at home just like everybody else. And as I said, the more Tucker spoke, the more my heart felt this is going to be the thing we need to do. And I didn't even ask permission. And I know I always say this, but the dogs are always welcome to come to the church. May the church never go to the dogs. So on Monday, we had 5 or 6 handlers. And this is 4 years ago. It was the first week of camp, and let's face it, you're here 4 years later, and we could not have been more blessed by having countless therapy dogs and handlers to come and bless our children with reading, which they've enjoyed. And you've been back faithfully every summer, and we cannot thank you enough. So Tucker, for blazing the trail on behalf of your organization, it is our honor and privilege to thank you and to just celebrate you today. And obviously Maggie came along with that first group. Maggie was 96, I think, when she was here. 90 more? 97. 95. Wow. So I know a lot of our children remember Miss Maggie, and they certainly know Miss Tucker well. So I'm going to ask Karen to come up and say a few words, and then we'll get back with some rewards and some, as you can see, we have cheerleaders here today, so this is awesome. So come up, Karen. Thank you so much for being here. And this is Cosette.
First, I want to thank Learning Health Center St. Andrews for hosting this lunch today. Not just having us here, but just providing this incredible meal that we all just enjoy. So let's give them a round of applause. We love our partnership with the Learning Health Center. We're so grateful to Maggie and to Tucker for starting that here. As he said, they thought it was that we needed them more. And I honestly think that probably still is the case. It's something that we really look forward to every summer. And our dogs look forward to it, and we hope that we can continue for a very long time to come. So Tucker, will you join me up here for a minute? We felt it was only appropriate to honor Maggie here because this is her home church, and also because she was very instrumental in starting the program here. That she inspired so many, and one of the people that she really inspired was Tucker. So I wanted to give Tucker a chance to say a few words about Maggie and how she met her.
Without Maggie, there would be no us, all alone. Patton children, family, the church, IPP, because Maggie her vision was why we have pet therapy in this community. She started this in the late 80s maybe, a lot longer than Patton. And her encouragement, her love, her support there's no way to say enough to the Patton family for sharing Maggie with us. Maggie and a group of us did a lot of visits, all kind of crazy places. But the day we left up here was a special day for Invisible Talkers. Brent, I'm grateful to you. Grateful to the church. I'm grateful to you guys who have come, got dog hair on you, done all sorts of fun stuff, but you've made us feel welcome, and that's important. Thanks, everybody.
David and Tom, would y'all join us up here? So one of the things we wanted to implement was member recognition for our volunteers who have, continued to grow in their therapy dog journey, and as they hit milestones, we wanted to be able to acknowledge that in some way. And so we have been talking about it as a board about how we would do that. And Tucker caught wind of it. And before we even had a chance to go down that road, Tucker, we got a box, and it was full of pins, and it was a very generous donation from Tucker in honor of Maggie for all these pins. So we wanted to present this to you, which shows the various pins that we will be using. So on the lanyards, as you see with Tucker, we will present our members with those pins. And so Maggie will continue to be honored as we honor our members. There's one pin that's not on Tucker's. We have ones that are for various hours, but there's one that's just we call the special pin. And that's a pin that from this point forward, we're going to let Tucker decide who she wants to give it to. And this pin is going to be called the Patton pin. Although I said that to him, like Tucker said, we need to put an I in front of that so it can be IPP, which is our abbreviation for the conference. So we're going to call it the Inspirational Patton pin. There we go. When Tucker presents it. As the first recipient of the Inspirational Patton pin. Tucker, you still can't go anywhere. You still can't go anywhere. So one of the beautiful things about Maggie is that while she started it and she inspired so many others, she planted seeds within Tucker, who has been inspired. Who's inspired all of us. Tucker's been so special to our organization. And I remember when I started, and Rob said, we got Maggie and Tucker. And it was so much credibility that came when they joined our organization, because they were the ones that started therapy dog work in this area, and people knew them. Tucker, I understand that your first dog was Sam. And I read an article that you had written at some point where you said you weren't even sure that you wanted that dog. You didn't feel like you knew them, but it was her dog that inspired her to start doing therapy dog work. And since then, she's had a total of 11 therapy dogs, is that right? The most famous of which I think we all can agree is who? Say it in unison. Wendy. Wendy was legendary, and I hate that I didn't have an opportunity to meet her. A few years ago, I saw that Tucker had, I saw on something that was posted, that Tucker already had over 12,000 hours of therapy dog time. And so I can only imagine how many she's added since then, and that's just remarkable. So let's give her. I did want to read something just super quickly that Tucker had written. Yeah, I bet you wish you hadn't given me all this stuff at some point. But I thought she said it best, and I won't read the whole thing, but I thought it would be good to hear some things that Tucker had said before. She says, "My life has gone through various changes. I've experienced many joys, met many wonderful families, gone into many wonderful various places, and yes, experienced sadness. But I've also learned that just one smile a day makes our day successful. Some days what we do is more memorable than others, and we will forever remember those times. Lots of people ask about seeing the children, and my response is children of all ages. I could not choose between visiting my older friends and the younger ones." And it's true. Tucker has volunteered in so many different capacities. Hospice, Ronald McDonald House, the hospitals, Learning Help Center. I mean, there's nursing homes. It's hard to imagine a type of place that Tucker has not been involved with at some point. I was reading, and she goes on, anybody wants to read this. I'll clean it up and share it. But I was reading back through some of the different experiences that she had, and one of them was about a young girl that she had visited right before she went into surgery. She had broken her leg, and Tucker and Wendy visited with this child for a long time, stayed until she was taken back for surgery. And a lot of times you don't hear from folks again. You might see them, while they're there, and then you don't hear from them. Well, this family talked to Tucker a few months later and said that Tucker had inspired them to get a dog. They were going to name it Wendy, but instead they decided to name it Tucker. And we also had a volunteer recently who came to be evaluated by us as a therapy dog team, and her son came. Tucker had taken Wendy to visit the hospital, the children's hospital, and the dog had ridden around in the wagon with Wendy, and it planted a seed. And they don't remember us, and that's our goal. They didn't know Tucker was going to be here, and they didn't know she was involved, but they told us the story, and then we put the pieces together and realized that Tucker, who was going to be her evaluator that day, was the one who had come to visit. So Tucker has planted countless seeds that I'm sure we will never know, but her impact has been tremendous, and we're so grateful for Maggie for inspiring her, getting her going, and for Tucker and all the work that she's done to continue to inspire people. So we feel like it's only appropriate that Tucker is the recipient of our first Invisible Paw Prints Award, which is named the Sophie Kortus Positive Impact Award, which is named after our founder, Rob Kortus, and his dog, Sophie, who inspired him to start this organization. So we're so excited to present that to you. I know you well enough to know that you don't want a statue, so we didn't get you one. But we have a little book for you. It says, "Tucker, may you be proud of the work you do, the person you are, and the difference that you make." And you've got some notes in there. And finally, because this place was so special to Maggie and Tucker, and they helped us get it started, Invisible Paw Prints is making a $500 donation to Learning Health Center in their honor. Thank you so much for coming. We'd love to get some pictures with the kids and families before everybody heads out.